Hey everyone, it's me, James, and I'm back once again to talk about game music. Long-time subscribers, thank you, both of you. May I remember a few years ago I did a video on vintage 80s game music on vinyl and a little bit on CD, mostly focusing on GMO, a label that was set up by Yen Records, which was the label of the Japanese techno-pop band Yellow Magic Orchestra, which is made up of Hiromi Hosono, Yukihiro Takahashi, and Sakamoto Ryuichi. That's if you want to learn more about that, check out that video. I'll have a link down here. Today I'm not talking about vinyl. Today I'm talking about vintage game music on cassette tape. In case you're curious, this is my Super Famicom carrying case, which says on the front is safe, convenient storage for Nintendo Super Famicom video system and Nine's cassette tape. Nine cassette case. Japanese English is fun. Anyway, I have a ton, over 40 game soundtracks on cassette tape, and I thought I'd talk about them for a bit here because you don't really see a lot of people talking about game music on tape. You get a lot of people really lusting after and idolizing and really putting on a pedestal game music vinyl, both new and old. And I personally prefer CDs because they sound better, I'm sorry, and you can rip them to your computer, and I'm one of those weirdos who still has an MP3 collection and a portable MP3 player, so that's really my go-to format. But tapes are fun. They don't sound great usually, and I'll get into how you can make them sound better in a minute. They don't sound the best, they're not as durable, they're kind of hard to store on a shelf because they're so small. But let's be real, if you grew up in the 80s, you have nostalgia for this format, right? I mean, they look cool. You know, there was something you could trade easily with your friends. They fit in your pocket. If you had a Walkman, tape is how you listen to music. And so a lot of stuff was released on tape in Japan. Starting in '84, when they started releasing game music on vinyl kind of in large numbers thanks to GMO Records, they also released it on tape until about the 1990, 1991 when I guess tape kind of fell out of favor completely in Japan and they really embraced CDs. Vinyl kind of vanished then too. Vinyl video game soundtracks, 1990s vinyl video game soundtracks in Japan are not easy to find, and when you find them, they are expensive. But GMO put out most of their stuff on tape. I have Techmoan game music on tape, Taito game music 2, the Darius soundtrack on tape, R-Type, IREM game music, Data East game music, Capcom game music, all 3 Sega game music. So I have them all on tape. And I've only listened to them a few times because I have them on CD, and like I said, the CDs sound better. But there's something to be said for the form factor. And you know, you give me a release that has Outrun on the cover, and I'm gonna want to own it because it's Outrun, and Outrun's dope. Sometimes they have some unique stuff inside, different liner notes. Sometimes they have sheet music, which I always think is hilarious. Sometimes they have stickers, things like that kind of make it fun to collect on the format. And tapes also kind of have their own unique obi strips. You know, vinyl has an obi. That's what you call it in Japan. That's that piece of paper that goes over the front. And tapes kind of have the version of it, which is like this. It kind of comes out like this. And sometimes you'll lose it. Like, here's my copy of Konami Game Music Volume 2 that doesn't have it. I imagine someone tore it off at some point. But here's a copy of the first Konami Game Freaks, yes, first one, and this does have it. I actually have 2 copies of this, and one of them somebody tore the perforation off, so it doesn't have it anymore. So if you're looking for game music, a lot of the vintage ones, especially GMOs, the game music organization ones by YMO, they usually have this piece of paper if you're looking for the complete version. One of the more interesting GMO releases is actually the very first one. So GMO's first release was this video game music, and that was released on vinyl, later CD, and tape. But the tape version has a unique cover that is completely different than the version on vinyl, which was also the cover for the CD version, which came out later. This is just a picture of a TV playing pole position. And it also says Namco. The original one doesn't say that. But yeah, this is a great release. It has mixes of Xevious, Bosconian, Pac-Man, Fozon, Mappy, Libble Rabble, Pole Position, New Rally X, Dig Dug, and Galaga. If you can get this album in any format, if you like that era of game music, you'll enjoy the release. Konami put a lot of stuff out on game music, and I think their releases are really interesting for what they have with them sometimes. So, for example, here are the MSX versions. These are just the MSX soundtracks for Gradius 2 and Parodius. And these have stickers in them. And they're also, the tapes are different colors. Like here's the tape for Gradius is orange. Ooh. And it has these unique stickers, which I'll show a close-up of in a second, for all kinds of games, not just Gradius. You got Gradius, Parodius, Gradius 2, Salamander, all these amazing stickers. And I can't believe no one ever peeled them. If I had bought this in 1980, whatever, these stickers, let's be real, they'd be long gone. The Parodius release on a blue tape has some unique stuff too. It has a little poster inside that has some liner notes I can't read, but it goes over the enemies, and it has a nice little front one with, I imagine, that looks like takoyaki. Now I'm hungry. Takoyaki is octopus, in case anyone's wondering. And I imagine this was in the CD version and any other version it had released, but the tape version's a different size, different format, and again, the stickers. And a lot of these actually aren't on the CD versions, because a lot of these, especially these MSX only releases, these came out on just on mini CD. And I have a few mini CD releases, and none of them have posters. None of them have liner notes. None of them have stickers. Now, maybe they did at some point, but the versions I have that I bought used, they're not there. So whenever I buy a used Konami tape, it tends to have that stuff. When I buy a used Konami mini CD, it does not. A couple more examples. Here's the Salamander one. This is for the arcade version. This tape's a bit more pedestrian, not a special color. This does not have any liner notes, they're probably gone, but it still has the original sticker. And then there's also the soundtrack to WEC Le Mans 24, which this one's fun. The tape is normal looking, and there's no special liner notes except for the fact that it has on like basically newsprint quality paper the score, the sheet music. So if you want to play Highway Killer BGM 1, you got the power. I probably made this joke before, but I would love to give these to my boyfriend because he plays the flute, and I would love to hear some vintage Konami game music on flute. That'd be rad. Two of the absolute coolest ones I have, though, are by, I believe, Technos. Yeah, Technos Japan, off the label CompuMusic. And they are the soundtracks to the first, I gotta say it right, I'm sorry my Japanese pronunciation on camera for some reason is not always good. Kunio-kun games. And the tape is just a plain white tape, nothing special there, but it has stickers of the title in Japanese, a survey card, I guess a warranty card maybe, and the inside also has a great poster. On one side is a poster, a little mini poster, and on the other side is character bios, which I love. And my favorite thing about these is since it's Japan and they care about it, I now know that Kunio-kun's blood type is AB. So, does that make him a universal receiver? It's not a universal donor. That's a rare blood type, right? Ask me anything about blood types. I don't know. But these are great. An even cooler one is Double Dragon. Great cover art. These were both released. Actually, the Kunio-kun one is only on tape. And this is not the game pure soundtrack. This is a synthesizer arranged version. And I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. And if I am wrong, correct me. But I'm pretty sure the music on this is only on this tape. So I should really record this. I have a tape deck hooked up to my computer. This one, this Double Dragon one, was released on a mini CD, which I've never seen. Mini CDs, in case you're wondering, they look like this. This is the mini CD for Rockman, a Rockman arranged mini CD. They come in these nice little rectangular cases, and the CD inside is tiny. But anyway, back to Double Dragon. This one's dope because it's also an arranged version. It's a really good arranged version, and it has a really awesome insert with a great poster and great information about all the characters, of course, all in Japanese. My favorite thing about this is now I know, canonically speaking, I am the same height as a Bobo. So he's wearing, let's be real, he's wearing it better than me. I don't know. The Abobo in this picture looks pretty svelte and just like a normal big dude. The Abobo, the canonical Abobo of the video games and the movie doesn't look as good. But nice looking Abobo in these liner notes. And again, it's really good music. Another one I want my boyfriend to play on the flute. Oh, and one more Technos one that I had to buy the second I saw it, the Sound Story arcade version of Dodgeball. Again, kind of on the Kunio-kun tip, right? Because those are related. This one's a blue tape, which looks pretty, and just like the other ones, it has stickers. This one, the person who bought it put the sticker on the case, drastically devaluing the bastard. And another great poster inside with some liner notes. Good poster, and the liner notes in the back. What do we have here? The character names, no blood types. Shocking, but great art style for this. I really dig this one. Going back to the Double Dragon one, I think that might be by the artist who does Fist of the North Star. I'm not sure. I couldn't find a signature on it, and it's really hard to find info on these. If you know, leave a comment and tell me. It looks very similar. Big, muscly dudes, really tiny heads. A few more interesting ones. Here's the Mario 3 soundtrack. I covered this before. This is on CD and vinyl. The CD's pretty affordable. The tape's around the same, give or take, under $100. The vinyl I saw just this week at a Disc Union store here in Tokyo. They were asking about 90,000 yen, which is over $700. I'm not buying that. I have it on tape. Thank you very much. I don't need the vinyl. And another Mario one, another Nintendo one. This is the soundtrack to 3D. What is that? Famicom Grand Prix 3D Hot Rally. And this one's interesting mostly because it's insanely rare. This is also available on CD and LP in theory, but I've never seen them. I've only seen it on tape. And to be honest, I've never seen this game. I don't know much about it. Not very good liner notes, just, I guess if you want to test some 3D glasses maybe, and just the track listing. But it's a good soundtrack. It's that vintage Nintendo sound. Good stuff. I'm not a big Enix fan because I hate Koichi Sugiyama as a person. I know he was a very talented composer, but he was a bad person. But I had to own this when I bought it. I bought this when I first moved here because it's Dragon Quest IV in brass, Volume 2. And I just found that idea funny. Of like, we have so much Dragon Quest. The demand for Dragon Quest music is so insane. We can release an all brass version and have it be 2 volumes, and people will buy it. A lot of people bought this. If you're gonna find a used game music tape at a Hard Off or a Book Off or at a CD store here, you're gonna find Dragon Quest IV on brass. The kids loved it. What else do I got here? We got some Civilian game music, Jalico Volume 1. Which has City Connection on it. Some more GMOs. This is Image Flight, which it doesn't look like a GMO release. It doesn't have the same form factor of name of studio game music, but this is a GMO release. And then a Falcom one, Falcom's Startrader. I don't know. I'm not a big Falcom person. I just bought this because I have low willpower and I'll buy most things I'll buy a lot of music on any format, game music on any format, because that's what I do. I don't have much Sega outside of the Sega game music. I only have Galaxy Force, which is an SST band release, which was the Sega's house band. And this has Galaxy Force, Thunderblade, and Afterburner, Outrun, originals, and really dope arranged versions. I have this on vinyl and on CD. This is a great CD, well, great tape. 2 of the strangest ones I own. And to be honest, I don't even know where I got these. They just showed up at my house one day. I have promo releases. So this is one for something called Fist. And I think this is a image album or a drama album, so it's mostly dialogue. It's for a game I've never heard of. I bought it completely ignorant of anything about it, just simply because it was a promo tape release of a game soundtrack. And I was like, I want one of those. Inside there's nothing, it's just a blank, it's just a very plain tape. The B side is blank, and there's a blank card. It looks like it was printed on a personal computer printer on red paper with black ink, and that is it. Nothing there. More interesting one is the soundtrack to Fighting Vipers by David Latisse. Because while this soundtrack is available on CD, the track listing here is different. To be perfectly honest, I don't know enough about Fighting Vipers to tell you the differences. I don't own the CD soundtrack, but just from looking online at the video game music database, which is where I get a lot of information for this video, whenever I cite a release date or anything like that or formats, I'm confirming that from the video game music database. It's a great resource for this type of information. Much better than Discogs. Discogs has huge holes that I'm routinely filling in myself. The video game music database seems to have everything. But yeah, they have different track listings for this release and the official CD release. I don't know how it's different. I don't know which version's better. I just thought that was pretty interesting. And one more Nintendo one I forgot to mention earlier because it was buried under a pile of tapes is the Super Mario Bros. 3. So Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3 Hop, Step, Jump by the Mario Freaks Orchestra. This was released on CD. I have never seen it on CD. The tape itself was pretty expensive. It was about 4,000 or 5,000 yen. I found this in a disc union at Kichijoji. Sounded fantastic, just great quality and really awesome arranged versions. As I said, there is a CD version of this, and if you type in the name of this release into a search engine, you'll find a place to get it, and it sounds better than my tape rip, but it's still, I like having my tape. And it also has the sheet music. Yeah, you can pirate the music online, but this is much harder to find. So again, get my boyfriend to play the original BGM over for Super Mario Bros. 3 on flute. I'd be so happy. You have no idea how happy that would make me. I'd be overjoyed. It'd be so cute. Just like. Anyway, I don't even want to whistle Mario music. I might get hit with a copyright strike. Nintendo, litigious bastards. While game music on vinyl has seen a definite resurgence over the past 10 or 15 years, and game music on CD still kind of exists, especially for like fanatics like me, and for really big releases by like Nintendo or Square Enix and stuff like that, game music on tape hasn't seen the resurgence, although it is there. I have a few. There was I Am 8-Bit released the soundtrack to the Area X stage from Rez on tape a while ago. And this is a nice looking tape. Has a nice little like printed graphic on it on both sides. And the tape itself sounded okay. I believe it came with a download code or some other way to get the music in another format. So it's cool, but it looks great. It makes sense that it's kind of this translucent glowy cover because Rez is all about like the bright colors and flashing lights. There's also the Sword and Sorcery. That's not my speech impediment. That's how it's spelled. It's Sorcery. The Sword and Sorcery LP released on tape. This is a nice looking package because it has this nice translucent green case and the tape inside is a nice solid blue. The game itself, never really my thing. I own the game and it's interesting and it's all about vibes, man. But the soundtrack's great. Jim Guthrie's master. I own so many Jim Guthrie soundtracks on all kinds of formats. I also have the soundtrack to, there was a rhythm game on the PC called Old School Musical, and it got a really intense 3-tape release, which is a weird release because one of it is a double tape box, which you don't see very often because it just fell apart in my hand. Double tape box. These have a special name. I forgot what they are, with its unique artwork. And then the third tape comes separately. I wish they put a bit more effort into the packaging Not only because it fell apart in my hand, but because you have to keep it, they're separate. It's kind of annoying. But the music's great, and this came with a download code. It's like 4 hours of music. It's all chiptune-y, retro game stuff. The game itself is okay, but the music is good. I love the sparkly tape the most. It's very sparkly. I'm a big fan of sparkles, and I'm homosexual. Another odd one, this one's a really weird, this was released on CD also, but I bought it on tape. This is Mappy's love song, Family Continue, on tape, and it's a translucent orange case with a black tape that has some graphics from Mappy on it. This is a hip-hop song, a rap song, a Japanese rap song that samples the music from Mappy. It's by MC 8-Bit and DJ Shogo. The instrumental's really good. The B-side is the instrumental, and it's really good. And I won't say anything about the A-side because I want to be positive on my channel. And finally, while we aren't getting many new game soundtracks released on tape, we are getting we are getting a few new music releases that are very heavily inspired by game music and their aesthetics. I really like this one. This is Arcadia Sweets, Frozen Peak. And if you can tell, they're going for an Atari 2600 vibe with the cover art. I bought this, I think, during the lockdown when I was just buying stuff on Bandcamp like there was no tomorrow. And it's some good lo-fi beats. Everybody loves lo-fi beats, right? And this is good background music for your studying. Chill out after a long day of work, put on some lo-fi beats in this vibe. Really pretty cover art, pretty blue tape. Big fan of this release. And I got it on Bandcamp, so that means I have it digitally too, which is nice. And one more I want to talk about because I think these are really fascinating. They're not game music, but they're obviously heavily inspired by them, is Time Slave Recordings' Masters of Outrun series, which is a prestige series showcasing what they say are the best of the Outrun genre on tape. I don't know what Outrun, there's Outrun, there's Synthwave, there's Retrowave, there's Darkwave, there's Vaporwave. These overlap. I am not a genre elitist, genre Nazi type person. You call it what you want to call it. They call it Outrun. I'm going to call it Synthwave. I think it sounds like Synthwave. Regardless, the packaging's amazing. They're obviously going for this really cool, Sega Master System inspired artwork that has a modified version of the original CD and LP cover on the front with the Sega Master System grid display behind it. And the back has, I believe, unique liner notes that sometimes have quotes from the artist, sometimes just talk about why they think the release is important. And then when you open it up, taking it even further, and this is how they sold me, I was blown away by this. The boxes themselves look like Sega Master System carts. As a Sega Master System child, this spoke to me. I buy all of these. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these right now. I have a fifth one. Coming on the way. I've missed a few and I'm heartbroken. I have watch lists set up on Discogs, so if they ever go on sale, I'm going to grab them. But the inside cases look like Sega Master System carts, and when you open it up, great screen printing job on the games. See, they got me. On the cassettes themselves to really hammer down the point yo, we're talking about Sega. I have Time Cop 1983's Journeys, Les Cassettes left to our own devices, Axon Jackson's Miami Kill, which of all of them looks like the one that could be a video game the most. Gina Calabrese's self-titled album, and Mitch Murder's Current Events. Of these, my favorites are probably, my favorite is Time Cop 1983. I have everything they put out. Journeys is a great record. Miami Kill is a good, more dark wavy, uncha, uncha, uncha. Really good for exercising. And Current Events by Mitch Murder. It's really good. It's a little too nostalgic. I know that's a weird thing to complain about. This Outrun synthwave album is too nostalgic for me, but it opens with a Jane Pauley quote about the 1980s, and I think it's a bit too on the nose, dude. But it's still a great record, especially once you get past the intro, it's a really good record. So if you're looking at these and you're thinking, where the hell does James get the soundtrack to Civilian on tape? Good luck. You can go on the internet. I don't frequent eBay that much, but these occasionally pop up there, I imagine. If you have the means to go to Japan's Yahoo auctions, they occasionally show up there, and on Merikuri, which is like a Japanese auction, like marketplace app. Your best bet is probably Discogs on the internet, but they're gonna go for some crazy prices that are not always fair. I've seen someone's trying to sell the soundtrack to one of these, I forget which one, for $1,000. It's not worth that much. It's not worth half that much. It's not worth a quarter of that much. It's worth about $100. So do your research before you click buy it. If you're in Japan, Hard Offs, which is a used goods store here in Japan with a funny name that I talk about a lot, I sometimes see them at Hard Off. I think I bought the Game Sound Jalico at a Hard Off, and I just saw some Dragon Quest tapes at a Hard Off not too long ago. You can try Book Off, but I've never seen tapes of any kind of Book Off, so good luck there. Your best bet is to go to actual CD and record stores. Disc Union has their anime and game music store in Shinjuku. That's a fantastic store. They often have, right now, if you go there right now, it is, what is today's date? It is June, as this is recording, it is June 10th. They have about 10 game tapes there, if you're looking for some. I have all of them, they're mostly GMOs. And the Disc Union, oddly, in Kichijoji, has a pretty good game music selection. Don't bother with the used stuff at Tower Records or HMV. They very rarely have game music in any format, let alone tape. And I guess your last bet would be to go to Akihabara and look. At any store that sells game music might have tapes. I've seen them at Super Potato a few times, very rarely. The Mandarake in Akihabara is more likely to have game music than the Mandarakes at Nakano Broadway. But the best place to find game music on tape in Akihabara is Bleep, which is a store kind of off the beaten path. If you Google it, you can find it. I would say probably 2/3 of these tapes I bought at Bleep. They really like me there. It's like, hey, it's that giant white man with the pink glasses. He's gonna buy stuff today. And finally, if you do plan on buying game music on tape to listen to, do yourself and your tapes and your ears a favor. Don't buy a new cassette deck. They sound like shit. There are other people on YouTube, I'm sure, have videos about it. Every cassette deck made now uses the same head. It's bad quality, really, really bad speed control, really bad flutter, and there's no Dolby noise reduction. And so if you have a tape like the Double Dragon one, which has Dolby on it, you can't get the full effect of the tape. It won't sound as good. So go online, look around, look for any vintage tape deck, anything made before the 2000s that has a Dolby symbol on it. It's gonna be better than a new tape deck. And yeah, you might need to buy a new belt and replace it. You might need to take it someplace to get it refurbished, but you're gonna enjoy the experience more. It's gonna sound better, and it's gonna be better for your tapes. I don't trust these cheap tape decks. My Super Mario tape, where is it? Oh no, I have too many tapes. Oh, here we go. My hot 3D rally tape, 3D hot rally tape, is far too valuable to put in a garbage tape deck that might eat the tape. I'm putting that in a vintage Sony, a vintage Panasonic, a vintage Nakamichi, something like that. You don't need to go super high end though. And anything, a Sharp will do you good. And anything that's not new is gonna treat your ears and your tapes better than some piece of crap you'll find on Amazon right now. So if you're gonna get into tapes, if you're gonna start going down this rabbit hole, do it right, please. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like this video, click those like and subscribes. And don't forget, I'm on Blue Sky as Lost Turntable, and I have a movie podcast called Cinema Oblivia, where I talk about weird old movies. That's kind of on a hiatus for a bit, but it should be back either this month or next month. Also on this channel, maybe you don't know, you haven't watched it because nobody's watching it. I'm doing a fun little project where I'm trying to rank every single movie I can remember seeing. I'm using Letterboxd to make a list, ranking everything I've ever seen. I am making a list that will say definitively, is Street Fighter the movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme better or worse than Casablanca? Casablanca's better. But like I'm doing the hard questions. Is Jaws better than Goodfellas? Is Doris Day's Pillow Talk, is that better than Rolling Thunder? Who knows? I know, and I'll tell you. It's a silly project. I know it's silly and stupid, but it gives me a chance to talk about a lot of old movies, and I really think you might enjoy it. If you want to learn more about a lot of old movies, then give those videos a watch if you have time. But I'll be back again with another video, probably in a week or two. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Later.